Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Shinkara. Last episode I mentioned that No Kuni was Studio Ghibli's first major video game collaboration. However, a few people brought up another game that the studio worked on called Jade Cocoon. This PS1 RPG was developed by Crave Entertainment and released in North America in 1999. Katsuya Kondo of Studio Ghibli, who did character designs for Kiki's Delivery Service, was tasked to do character designs for the game. Studio Ghibli also contributed a short animated opening. So while certain employees from the studio assisted in Jade Cocoon, it wasn't nearly on the scale of No Kuni. Nonetheless, Jade Cocoon was quite the gem in a sea of amazing RPGs. Let's take a closer look and see what it's all about.
On this day, the sacred union shall be performed. As the successor to the Lion of Peril, you shall determine the fate of us all.
Jade Cocoon begins in the small village of Cyrus, where we meet the game's protagonist, Levant. At the beginning of the game, it's revealed that Levant's father is presumed dead after going missing for a long period of time. Additionally, he was the village's last cocoon master, a warrior capable of commanding the beasts that inhabit the world. As such, the village elders have decided that it's time for Levant to marry and become the village's next cocoon master. Unfortunately, the timing couldn't have been worse, as the village is attacked by a swarm of demons, causing many of the villagers to fall into a deep sleep. One of the elders proficient in magic named Gurai tells Levant of a magical herb that lies deep within the forest that could save the village, and thus your adventure as a cocoon master begins as you journey into the vast forest in search of the calabash herb. In my opinion, the story isn't really all that engaging. There's some interesting moments here and there, but you never really feel compelled to keep playing because you want to know more about the plot. It's pretty standard JRPG fare, to be honest. For an early 3D game, it actually had some voice acting, which was kind of rare at the time. All in all, it's not bad either. Gurai sounds like a believable, wise old woman. Your wife Mabu appears to be sweet, but the voice acting definitely isn't great by any means. And the other supporting characters do a pretty decent job. But of all the characters you meet, Louis is definitely the most annoying. He's that typical 90s voice you heard in every cartoon, and God, he just never shuts up.
Hey, loser! Try not to get eaten alive out there, tough guy. You are so pathetic!
How about I put you in a cocoon?
That's so lame!
The gameplay of Jade Cocoon was certainly the game's biggest draw. It was kind of like a mix between Pokemon and Monster Rancher, but in a lush 3D world to explore. As you travel through the forest, you'll encounter monsters that you can capture just like in Pokemon. The only difference is that you can fight them as Levant or with the monsters you capture. There's also a really neat mechanic that allows you to combine monsters you capture with one another to create brand new ones. There's such a large variety of basic monsters that the amount of creations possible is mind-boggling. It's pretty fun to capture different monsters to see what crazy beasts you can come up with. Admittedly, I got a little addicted to collecting these monsters to see what combination I would make next. While the story didn't really appeal to me, this monster combining mechanic definitely did. The only annoying part about all this is that you'll need to do a lot of backtracking. See, in order to use or combine the monsters, you first need Mabu to purify them. So whenever you have a full batch of monsters, you have to go all the way back to the village, have her purify them, and then you can combine them as much as you want. Granted, this is a JRPG after all, but the whole process made the game ultra grindy. You're constantly going back into the village, which can be quite annoying since there's not a lot of quick travel points back to where you were deep in the forest. You'll need to walk all the way back and fight all the same monsters again. I'll just say, unless you really like turn-based battles or you really think you're going to like this combining mechanic, Jade Cocoon is going to get really boring really fast. I personally couldn't play it for more than a few hours at a time because it got so repetitive. There's just not a whole lot in the game to break up the monotony. Oh, and the game also has those old Resident Evil tank controls which, if you're not used to, can get kind of frustrating.
Ah, you are such a brat! You're making me lose my temper, you little twit.
One other thing that's likely to make or break the game for people is Jade Cocoon's presentation. This is a PS1 game after all, so it has a lot of pre-rendered backgrounds and blocky characters. Personally, I love the way these older games look. It's no doubt a nostalgia trip, but this look is really endearing and it's tough for me not to like it. The village and forest environments all look really nice. Jade Cocoon has quite a bit of variety, so the environments don't all look completely the same. The soundtrack though is what really does it for me. If a game's music can either fit the mood really well or make you want to listen to it outside of the game, then it's done something right. Jade Cocoon's music has done both. The The village tune is really calming and makes you feel relaxed, the various forest themes create a nice sense of atmosphere, and the battle theme can get you pretty pumped up. If you didn't grow up in the early days of 3D gaming, Jade Cocoon might look like an ugly mess, but if you're like me and grew up with games like Mario 64 and Final Fantasy VII, then Jade Cocoon will be a welcome trip down nostalgia lane.
So, the son of the Lion of Peril is even more talented than I had thought.
Jade Cocoon is an interesting title born out of the trends at the time. It seemed like every week an awesome new RPG was coming out and everyone was trying to get in on the craze. Admittedly, Jade Cocoon definitely stood out with its monster creation system and character designs from Studio Ghibli. The game even did well enough to warrant a sequel on the PS2. While I've never played it, I haven't heard many good things about it. What's kind of unfortunate is that Jade Cocoon isn't available on the PlayStation Network as a PS1 classic outside of Japan yet. Considering how it wasn't exactly a smash hit, I doubt it ever will be. If you're wanting to check out the game for yourself, you're probably looking at about the $30 price range on eBay. If you're like me and can't get enough JRPG goodness, it might just be worth a look. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Shinkara. Be sure to stay tuned in the coming weeks as plenty of awesome titles are coming out that I'll definitely be reviewing on the show. Thanks as always for watching everyone, and we'll see you next time. Hey everybody, I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please let me know with a nice little comment or give me a little like there. That always helps me out. And if you're wanting to watch more of my videos, there are links right in front of you. You can just click them and they'll take you right to them, especially that No Kuni one. That was a good one. And hey, I wanted to give a special shout out to my friend Nick and his channel, You've Seen My Truck. It's pretty good. They've got some great videos like Game Series in a Nutshell, of doing a Let's Play series through Dead Space right now. They're a good channel, they don't have a lot of love, so make sure you go over there, show them some love, and hit that subscribe button. And like I said, make sure you stay tuned because there are going to be a flurry of videos in the coming weeks. Thanks a lot, guys.